want to welcome Megan Lavin, who has a perfect recipe for the weekend. Double chocolate banana bread.
That's right.
It looks so good. I can't wait to figure out how we make it. But the special thing about this recipe is that it's allergy free.
It is. It is. It's free of the top 8 allergens, so whether you have celiac disease or multiple food allergies, it should be safe for most people.
Okay, and Megan, you actually have a blog called Allergy Awesomeness where you feature recipes for people who have allergies, which is so great because there are so many people out there that deal with this. So how did you get this idea to start this?
Yeah, so I have 2 boys and both of them have multiple food allergies. My oldest actually has more than 30 thanks to a rare disease.
Wow.
So it was bananas, literally, trying to figure out how to cook for him. And because there's 15 million Americans that have food allergies, once I was public about it, people kept coming to me, oh, my niece or oh, my nephew, can you help me? Can you give me a recipe? And we've been dealing with it for multiple years, so I was like, I feel like I've got a few allergy-friendly recipes up my sleeve, and I just want to be able to help other people because I know that feeling of like, what do I feed my child?
Exactly,
You know?
Especially when they have so many restrictions, it can be hard to find something that tastes good.
Oh yeah, very important.
But is also okay for them to eat.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
so
that balance.
this recipe that we're going to talk about today is one that you say does taste really good.
So good.
People who don't have allergies will love it too.
Yeah, you'll be surprised. I mean, it's double chocolate. Chocolate banana bread studded with chocolate chips. I mean, come on, right?
Yeah.
Win-win.
Okay, so just a little piece of advice for parents out there who are dealing with this. What would you tell them? Because your kids are young and they're dealing with.
It's true, it's true. Well, the first thing I would always say, I brought my EpiPens, and these are life-saving medications that you should never leave the house without because you never know when an allergic reaction could happen. So always make sure you have these handies. I keep one in my son's backpack, one in my purse, one in the diaper bag.
Okay, good to know.
The next is learn to read labels. There's so many great resources out there. FARE, F-A-R-E is one of them. There's also a local group that's really wonderful, great for learning and advocacy and events. It's called Utah Food Allergy Network. So get involved and learn. The best way to be prepared is education, I think.
Okay, great advice, and we'll post links to all of that info on our website as well.
Wonderful.
Okay, let's get right into this
let's
recipe.
get
How
going.
do we start?
Okay, what I do first is I get the wet ingredients. So you'll see I use rice milk. That way it's not using regular dairy milk, and I've mixed in some vanilla. So if you don't mind, you can go ahead and put that in the stand mixer for me.
Okay, I'm going to be your sous chef.
Thank you, please. And then next I like to use coconut oil. This is a fabulous butter substitute. Still gives it that oil texture that you need, but without obviously the dairy.
Oh, definitely.
So once we've got the wet ingredients, then we're just going to start to do the dry. And I kind of am lazy. I know some people like to sift the dry ingredients, but because you've got a stand mixer, I just keep it on low and slowly add them one at a time.
Yeah, let's be honest, I never sift separately.
I know. Well, and it's like less dishes, the better, right?
Exactly.
So let's go ahead. So first I've got a gluten-free flour blend. Now, if you're not familiar with cooking gluten-free flour, it takes a mix of several to get that same consistency and texture. So I just make up like a big batch, and then I keep it in my fridge. That way it's always handy.
So you can just use it like a normal bag of flour.
So then I just scoop it out one for one like I would want. And this is a mixture of rice flour, tapioca starch, and potato starch. So you can find all those.
Who would have ever thought? Okay, and it gives you that same consistency.
That same consistency. You'll see it's like so soft, so moist. The only difference that I notice is that you don't want to keep it in like an airtight container afterwards because the gumminess of the rice will get too sticky. So just like wrap it in a loose towel when you're done.
So good to know. Okay, I'm going to pour this in here.
All these little tricks you learn.
And then are we going to start mixing?
Yeah, you can go ahead and put that on low.
Okay.
And then brown sugar. I love brown sugar. It just gives that little extra sweetness that white doesn't. So, I mean, banana bread's got to be sweet, right? Just because it's a breakfast food doesn't mean it can't be extra yummy.
Yeah, just because you can eat it for breakfast. I know, right? I'm glad you do too.
Yes.
That makes me feel
let's
better.
be honest. Breakfast, after school snack,
anytime, midnight.
Yes, it's always good. And then the cocoa, very important part.
Okay, did you have to use any certain kind of cocoa or just your favorite brand?
There are certain brands where you'll want to check, make sure if you need to look for cross-contamination or what kind of facility it's made in, depending on the severity of your allergies.
Okay,
for sure.
Good to know.
For sure.
Good to know.
And then you use typical stuff, like we've got baking soda and baking powder to help it rise.
Okay.
So, I mean, you can still use some typical stuff. Like I mentioned, the vanilla, baking soda, baking powder, those are often usually generally safe.
Yeah.
It's just the big things to substitute out the wheat and the eggs and the dairy. And the great thing is because this has got so much moisture from the rice milk, it doesn't need an egg substitute. So you can just take that right off. Yeah.
Oh, that's great, because there are a lot of kids that are allergic to eggs as well.
Yeah, but those bananas give it that softness as well. And then this is a very special ingredient. This is xanthan gum. Have you heard of it?
I have heard of it, but I don't actually know what it is. So what do you use this for?
It's a leavener. So gluten, which is in normal flour, is what gives it that rise. And so when you don't have that wheat, you've got to have this. Otherwise, it'll still taste good, but it'll just be completely flat. So very important.
Xanthan gum. And can you get this at the grocery store?
Yeah, yeah, you can find it just about anywhere. It's pretty common now.
Got it.
And then that's our baking powder. So pretty simple. And
yeah, this is an easy recipe.
I know, right? I mean, you would think it's going to be all these crazy ingredients, but really it's still pretty much your staples, just making sure to leave out those top 8 allergens. Okay. And then, most important, chocolate chips.
You have just
so
a
cute?
girl after my own heart. You guys, these are the mini kind. I guarantee you're going to like them more than regular. For some reason, like, there's more of them that fit into every bite. So,
and you don't feel as bad because they're little.
Yeah, so they're just so good.
Yeah.
Okay,
and those are dairy-free. So those are even at Walmart now. I can find them. So I mean, it's
dairy-free mini chocolate chips.
Dairy-free, yeah. Cool. And they taste the same. I should have left one out for you to try it. You'll notice when you eat the bread. So good.
I'll taste it.
Right?
Don't worry. Yes. Okay, and then we have to add the bananas. So,
obviously,
any tricks for the bananas?
Nope. I just like to make sure that they're really ripe because then they mash up a lot better. So make sure they're kind of speckled. I mean, let's be honest. We all buy a bunch of bananas thinking we're going to eat them, then we don't. So it's a great excuse to use them up. It's like, oh, darn it, I have to make banana
we have to make double chocolate banana bread.
So if you want to open that one, I'll open this one.
And should I break them in half?
Yeah, go ahead and break them in half, but the stand mixer's great. I'll mix it up right there for you. And then you're just going to go ahead and it's going to look like a typical consistency. It's going to be kind of a thick batter. I like the banana a little bit chunky in there. It depends on how much you want to mix it up. And then it's just as simple as, greasing in a typical loaf pan, filling it and popping it in for 350 degrees for 45 minutes to an hour, depending on your oven. But it will look like it's almost slightly not done. But as it cools in the pan for 10 minutes and then you let it cool on like a wire rack, it's perfect consistency.
Oh, this just looks amazing. I cannot wait to try it. So, of course, we're going to do that a little later on in the show. Megan, thanks so much for being here. And stay with us. We still have a lot more to come right here on the plate in the kitchen with this amazing double chocolate banana bread recipe, which is perfect because it's for people who have allergies, but everyone will love it.
Exactly. It's a win-win either way.
Okay, so we had finished mixing and we got to this point. So remind people how long it goes in the oven for.
350 degrees for 45 minutes. And then take it out. Make sure you keep it in the pan for about 10 minutes so it can finish setting up and then cut and enjoy.
Do you do the toothpick test on this?
I don't. I'm a finger test if it bounces when your finger touches it.
If it bounces, then it's done. Okay, good to know. We have to talk about Allergy Awareness Week.
Yes.
Because it's this week.
I know. How perfect, right?
Yeah. So tell us some of the events and things people should know about it.
Yeah. So it's every year for a full week, and this year's theme is called React with Respect, which I really appreciate because there's a lot of misconceptions out there. People think you're just being picky or that it's not a real medical condition, but it can be life-threatening. And so definitely if you have people maybe in your scouts or ward or school, to react with respect. Ask them questions, see how you can get them to feel included. Yeah,
a lot of people just blow it off, and it's not something to be blown off because it can put a lot of people in danger. So when you do come into one of those situations where maybe it's time to bring a treat for the class or something like that, what's a good rule of thumb for parents out there?
A good rule of thumb is always just to ask. I mean, as an allergy parent, I want to be involved in the conversation, and I don't want to put it all on your shoulders either. I'll help you come up with ideas. Oftentimes there's things like Dum-Dums or Smarties that are like pure sugar that are pretty much safe for anyone. So there's always workarounds as long as people are willing to have the conversation.
Okay, so good to know. And tell us other recipes that you have on your site, because I know a lot of people are saying, okay, if you can make double chocolate banana bread, what else is out there?
Yeah. Well, I try and cover everything because your kids have got to eat 3 meals a day, whether they've got 1 allergy or 20. So I've got things from breakfast, like other things like muffins, to lunches, and I do lots of dinners, and of course you've got to do some desserts. So I try and cover all the bases on Allergy Awesomeness.
Okay, and let's talk about the flour again for just a moment, because you say having that mix ready to go in a larger container, so it's just like your normal flour bag that you go to, is key. So tell us again what you put in there for the mix.
For sure. Well, it's nice when you're baking and you've got that hankering. You don't want to sit and weigh and measure everything. So this is a 3 blend. It's got the rice flour, the potato starch, and the tapioca starch. I make a big blend. That way I can just measure it like regular flour, 1 for 1, and it's ready to go.
Okay, and you can get all of those from the grocery store.
Yeah, especially things like Sprouts and Whole Foods. You can get the individual packets, so it's wonderful.
Oh, that's so great. And you say it does have the same consistency, so I think it's time to taste.
Right?
We've been waiting the entire show. So Dave and Brooke, here you go.
Please, dig in.
Incredible.
Thank you.
Double chocolate banana bread.
Yes.
Okay,
so
and I'm
good.
guessing your kids just absolutely love it.
Yeah.
You get a taste too.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, I do love it.
Let's remind everybody, you put in mini chocolate chips.
I did.
And you say they're dairy-free.
They are. I mean, you got to have it studded with a little something. So you got the chocolate taste with that little extra. So
that is really
extra good.
good.
Yeah, good for breakfast. I like to put it in my son's school lunches. Great for after
Best
school.
mom ever.
There's no wrong time to eat it, right?
This is tastes like a cake.
It
Can
pretty
I
much
say
is.
that?
Yes.
And Brittany has chocolate all over her teeth.
But I call it bread because it sounds healthier than a chocolate
Exactly.
cake.
So you can eat this for breakfast, which is pretty cool. Okay, tell people your blog address.
It's allergyawesomeness.com.
Allergyawesomeness.com, and you post all kinds of tips and great recipes.
Yeah, because I'm an allergy mom. Both of my children have food allergies, so I want to be able to help others out there because I know what it's like to be in those shoes. So.
Yeah,
Thank you
such
so
a
much.
great resource.
Yeah. Great information today, and I'm sure it'll help a lot of people. We'll have it on our website as well.
Cool.
All right, have a great weekend.
Yep,
Thanks,
gotta
everyone.
go. Be safe. Enjoy.
See you guys. Bye.